Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to this video recording for the MiCloud System Center Cloud and Data Center Management website. My name is Aiden Ermy, and today I'm going to walk you through a process on a question that was emailed to me by one of my subscribers. They asked for some assistance with SCOM and customizing the notifications that are sent automatically from SCOM, if you have that configured, to their manager. So the scenario that they presented was a server was shut down in production, and they got the two alerts that SCOM automatically produces when a system is unreachable. But the manager was asking why he didn't receive an alert that said something like server X is offline or down. So they've asked for some assistance in doing this. So I've written an article on my website detailing this, entitled Customizing SCOM Alert Notifications. And I put the health service heartbeat failure and failed to connect to computer references, as those are the primary two elements of that that we're going to use as an example today. So the first scenario that we want to kind of demonstrate here is if we connect to our SCOM environment, and we can see that we have one system that is being monitored. So our SCCM server in our lab is being monitored right now currently. So if we are going to, let's generate these alerts first and mimic the scenario that they're referring to, so we can see what we're working with. So if I shut off my SCCM server, that'll take a moment to go. There it goes. And eventually this will become grayed out. If we go over to monitoring and active alerts, if you give it a moment, about 3 or 4 minutes, because the heartbeat process for SCOM by default checks every minute, and when there's a failure, three sequential failures of that heartbeat check, then that's when SCOM will throw the alert that there's a communication issue. So while we wait for these alerts to come up, basically what we're going to cover today is finding the alerts that we want to have a custom notification sent about, how to identify the pieces required, identifying the monitors or the rules to know how to pinpoint against those in the notification subscriptions, and be able to customize the subject or the details in the email according to that alert. So a good scenario for this would be if you have a technical team and they just get the alerts from SCOM as they are spit out by default. Generally, that's usually okay, because the people can read the information, the technical details, see what's going on, and have an idea of what's happening. But if you want to send more of a stakeholder, high-level email or response to some higher-level items, then having all that technical information in there can be a little hard for them to understand. And we don't want to kind of overwhelm them with that. They just want to kind of know that something serious is going on and someone is handling it. So we're just waiting for this SCCM server to come back in a red state. This is off. I'm just going to pause the video until those alerts pop up here. So we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so we're back. So now the alerts have shown up here in the SCOM console. So we see server, SCCM. Now we have two of them. One is failed to connect to computer. One is a health service heartbeat failure. If you're not aware of the differences, the first one that's thrown is, as you can see from the timestamp as well, is the health service heartbeat failure. So what happens first is when there's a communication problem within SCOM between the management server and the agent or the target system that it's monitoring that has the agent installed, it will first attempt to communicate with the agent itself, and it does that, every minute. And when it fails after 3 times, then it throws a health service heartbeat failure. So that's specific to the agent itself. Now, after that, as part of a recovery process or a diagnosis process, there's a trigger that attempts to ping the target machine to see if the machine is up and maybe just the agent itself is having an issue. So you can see it says Agent Watchers Group here. But under failed to connect to computer, it should say something about cannot be reached through an ICMP ping. So some environments are locked down where it doesn't allow that response through your firewalls, or the systems aren't set up to respond to that. But that's how you can make a differentiation in your environment if it's set up properly to allow those pings through. Then you can clearly have a response saying, oh, there's just an issue with the agent. The server itself is up, but just monitoring itself is down. Versus, yes, the server itself is actually down. So these are the 2 alerts that we're working with in our environment today to compare against and customize against. So the first thing that we need to do, as an example, is set up a notification as if we're just regular IT people and being notified when these alerts are thrown, just to see what is produced by default. So if you go over to the administration side, you will want to make sure you have a channel and subscriber set up prior to the subscription, which is the main area we'll be working in. So in the channel, I'm just going to quickly set up my SMTP channel to my Exchange server in my systemcenter.lab environment. And on my second one as well. So you have to have the SMTP relay stuff configured in your Exchange environment there. Now, you need to have a return address, but it does not actually need to be a legitimate email. So, for example, you can go scom@sc.lab. How many times it'll retry in intervals for connections to these Exchange systems. And then this is the format. This is what the email subject spits out, the codes in reference to the objects or items that are throwing the errors, the information that's in the body of the email, the importance, and encoding, and all this fun stuff. So we'll leave this at default so we can see what it looks like out of the box. So we have our SMTP channel set up. So we need a subscriber. So in my environment, I have myself. The subscriber name means nothing at all, just an identifier that will be shown up here, so you can have any format you want here. You can name it as a group, SQL group, Exchange group, manager, whatever you want. You can specify when you want to send notifications all the time or within a certain time and date range, like not on weekends, for example, which is helpful if you're sending communications to a pager. If someone's on call, you can just page out after hours type of concept there. For addresses, that's where we want to put in the address, the email address we're going to send this to. So address name, again, it doesn't, this is not the email address name, just a name to identify this subscriber. So that's what's going to show up in this section here. So again, we'll just put my name. And here we want to choose the channel. We're going to use our SMTP channel. And we want to put in my actual email in my lab environment here. Always send me notifications. That's fine. Finish. Okay. So now I have a channel set up. Now I have a subscriber that we can send emails to. And now we want to set up a subscription on when are we going to send emails and concerning what to whom, basically, right? Like a subscription to like a magazine, for example. So we can say, we can just go call this server activity alerts. And so basically, you can call it whatever we want. We can notify on all alerts. Actually, that's what we'll do. We'll change this to go all alerts, which is a little bit more. So we don't need to worry about customization. Subscribers, this is where we want to go and add our subscriber. So you can just search and it'll bring everyone up. Or you can filter it accordingly. So now I've added myself as a subscriber to this subscription. And I need to add the channel that we will use to fulfill this subscription. So you can send notifications without delay. You can you put a delay if there's maybe some latency in the environment that you want to kind of account for, so people aren't emailed immediately. You can maybe have a 5-minute delay just to make sure there's an actual legitimate problem. Kind of depends on what you're trying to set up here. So we'll go next and we'll make sure it's enabled and hit finish. So now that that's here and enabled, if I go over to my Windows 10 desktop or client-based system, I should receive, there we go. I should receive an email, actually 2 of them, one for each of those alerts. So I'm just, again, going to pause the video and wait for that to come in so I can show you what it looks like by default out of the box with the current setup. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Sorry about the delay there. So we see the 2 emails that have come in, one for each alert that we saw in SCOM, one for the health service heartbeat failure. It says resolution state is new, and one for the failed to connect to computer and resolution state is new. So this is how it is out of the box by default, what it shows. If you haven't customized or changed anything with the notification subscriptions and the templates and all that good stuff. So again, and then this is the information that it shows in the body of the email as well, with a link directly to the actual alert, which goes through the web console, subscription ID reference, and so forth. So this is fine generally from a technical standpoint, from a technical person standpoint, maybe a SCOM administrator. You might want to customize it a little bit if you want to put the word new at the front, for example. Get rid of resolution state. But let's pretend it's fine out of the box. But if you want these emails to go to a stakeholder like a team lead, a project, or a manager or a senior manager, that type of thing, when something serious like a server is down, this information isn't quite as helpful to them. It's not as intuitive and easy to see exactly what's going on. So what we're going to do in this example is we're going to take these 2 alerts and we're going to change the subject line in the email, and maybe we'll change part of the body possibly as well, just to make it more non-technical user friendly and easily identifiable as to exactly what's occurring in the environment. So with that, we will go back to our SCOM environment. We have our 2 alerts here. So the first thing that we need to do is actually we need to identify where these alerts or what's generating these alerts. So if you're not familiar that much with SCOM, there's different things like monitors and rules that will generate alerts. So in this case, if we select this first one, health service heartbeat failure, which is the first one to be generated, we see in the alert details here specifically that it was generated by an alert monitor. This could say rule, but in this case it's a monitor, and the monitor specifically is the health service heartbeat failure monitor. You can even click on that. It'll give you more information about the monitor or rule itself, like usually a description, the target that it goes to, the management pack it's a part of, which can be useful if you're trying to find it, how its health roll-up works in relation to best of, worst of, the default setup for alerting, generating alerts, priority is high, that type of thing, and if it has diagnostic tasks that are triggered automatically or not, and recovery tasks that are triggered automatically or not. So this is just out of the box from Microsoft by default, exactly what's going on in the environment with this monitor specifically. So the key piece that we want to note, because we want to use this to customize notifications to, say, management, is the actual name of this monitor, which is this health service heartbeat failure. If we look at so that's kind of ties in with the same name right here. But if we look at the one for failed to connect to computer, the name is failed to connect to computer, but it's also an alert monitor, but it's actually the monitor itself is called computer not reachable. So, and you see in the description, this monitor indicates if a computer cannot be pinged. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the name that's shown in this column is the name of the monitor in this case. It's actually slightly different. So with these 2 key pieces of information, we're now going to create a custom notification, a custom notification subscription that we will use to send an email to management with a little bit more easily readable information. So we're going to just grab this first one, and I'm going to copy this name here and go over to administration. And under administration, again, notifications section, channels, well, we already have our channel set up by default. We have a subscriber, which is myself in this case, and we have a subscription going to the technical team. So you could actually, set up a new subscriber and call it, I can get my keys right, management, or manager if you have multiple or whatever. You can always send notifications in that case, and you can add the manager or managers to this specific subscribers list. So you can basically, it's like a group or a distribution list in Exchange or an AD that you can use in that same kind of concept. You can also use Exchange email distribution lists as well, which actually would facilitate a lot easier process for teams, specific teams and so forth. So obviously I'm adding myself again, but as an example, I'll make a subscriber called management. So now we're going to make a custom notification subscription for management. So we will go new on subscription, and we're going to call this, in my article, I called this manager alerts, and specifically this is server connectivity I can spell. Alerts. Description, of course, if you want. And this is the important part. The important piece is the criteria page. Because here is where you tell it what specific rules and monitors are going to trigger this, and how you can customize how that information is going to be presented to the manager or management in this case. So we're going to check off created by by specific rules or monitors, and then we have this section with the description here, and this is like a little hyperlink by the word specific, because we have to actually tell it which rules or monitors this is for. So when we click on this, we get the monitor and rule search dialog box. So we want to actually search. You can filter by management pack or pretty much anything, but we're going to search for that first monitor out of those two that we're getting when the server goes down, and quickly do search for that. So here's that exact monitor. Remember, it's out of the watchers node. It's in this management pack, if you recall from previously in the video. So this is one that we want here. We will hit add so that we have that in the list. Then the other one is, I believe, computer some computer connectivity. Let me just remember where that is. Not reachable. There it is. Computer not reachable. So let's just make that a little bit easier. There we go. So you see there's actually some rules as well here, but we want the monitor specifically because that's what's triggering the alert when a server is offline. So we're going to add that to this as well. So now we have those criteria specifically listed. So now hit next. And now we want to add our subscribers. So we can add the management list or group or individual that this is going to. You can have multiple, of course. And here's the other special part that's specific to this, where part of the customization comes in. If we were to just go to add and add our SMTP channel to this, well, then that's going to take the default format that's generated out of the box, and that's what's going to be used to fill in those variables in that email and send it to that manager. And that's not what we want to do in this case. We want it a little bit more customized so we can make it more human friendly to read it. So we're actually going to remove that, and we're going to go new, create customized copy. I'm going to choose our SMTP channel, hit add. After we hit OK, now we get this email notification channel just like we had before. Excuse me. Sorry, it's really late at night. And we're going to actually label it a little bit differently so that we know this is the customized one. So manager template, maybe. Whatever you want to call it, just so that we know that this one contains the customizations on the specific alerts on how we want to present that information. So maybe not template, maybe go server connectivity. All right. So we have our Exchange servers already in here. All this is set out by default, which is fine. This works. And here's the special part where we get to customize and format the way the information is displayed in the email. So the very first piece is the subject. So if we look at the front here, it says alert : and then it has this big, huge, long string here, alert name, and then resolution state, and then that whole big, long string after that. So when you choose this arrow on the right, these are basically variables from the alerts that you can reference into your into the subject line, into the email message, whatever you want. So in our example, and in the request that one of my readers sent me, the manager wants to have an email saying server X or Y, whatever server it is, server is offline or down, instead of a bunch of technical jargon. So what we're going to do, we're going to actually delete this subject and we're going to put server, and then we want the actual server name. So I'll show you in a minute where that comes from. But this source path here, I'll show you on the alert in a second. Server, and then this variable is the entity display name, which in this specific case for these two alerts is the server name. And you can put is offline / down. So that'll be in the subject line. And then in the body of the email, you can say notice server, and you can take that same variable, that same string variable reference there, is potentially offline or down. Ensure one of the IT team members is aware. So we're to look into it. Something like that, right? Whatever generic message you want, manager or stakeholder friendly message you want there. So we can actually even get rid of all of this. We don't need any of that, whatever you want to put in. But again, same thing applies to all these types of variables, which will fill in based on the alert. And let's make this a high importance because it's server down, so it's probably really important. And then we hit finish. So now we hit close. So now we have this customized channel with the custom subject, the custom body of the email there. We're going to send a notification without any delay, and we'll finish that up. So now we have our custom subscription, and it's enabled by default. So now we want to re-trigger these alerts to generate, and we will see in our email the difference, how it looks differently from when it comes out of the box. So I'm just going to pause the video and cause that to be re-triggered so you can see what the differences look like. Okay, welcome back. So now we can see in the email client here again. Again, it's coming from the SCOM email address, whatever we put in there. It doesn't have to be a legit email address, but if they hit reply, it won't go anywhere. And you see these ones now, the subjects show server, the server name, the FQDN full server name specifically, which is what that variable resolved to. And it says it is offline / down. It's a high priority email. It says notice server blah is potentially offline or down. Ensure one of the team members is where to look at it. So we can see how we can customize it one way versus another to IT individuals with much more details, a link directly to the alert so they can be able to do some more diagnostics immediately, versus to management or stakeholders that might just want to be aware that something of high importance is occurring, like a major server being down, and we can customize that. So one other quick thing I wanted to mention and show was how we were able to determine which label to put into this variable, because it actually depends on the alert. So if we go into SCOM and we look at the alert, you notice how it says source here, and it has the FQDN. So same thing right here in the details. This is the source. Well, it's being triggered another time there. Just give me 1 second here. Yep. So, yeah. So it just got triggered a second time. So, So in SCOM, we have the source being the FQDN of the object. Well, this is actually dependent on the alert or rule itself. Not every alert or rule will show, like, say, the FQDN of the server that's being affected. So that's why it's best if you work with alerts that are being triggered. If I go to my closed alerts, you can see some of the other examples here where I was having some issues with my Exchange server SMTP not working. So even though in the description it mentions the server name here, the source isn't pointing directly to that Exchange server. So it actually depends on the alert or rule, what it lists as that source or path or anything like that. So it's best to work with existing alerts that are triggered in your environment, and that way you can see, okay, it's this specific monitor, this is what it's called. This specific variable or entity source has the FQDN that I want, or maybe I'll use the full path, even though it has the upper level elements, it has the FQDN at the end. So it kind of just depends really on your environment, on the rule or the alert. So I hope this has been of assistance to you in understanding how you can customize your email notifications. There are different ways you can do that with different information. For different individuals, whether it's a group of IT individuals, managers, or higher stakeholders, that type of thing. Definitely want to encourage you, if the article has helped you on my website, or if you're watching this video, go to the article that this is paired with, and rate the article, comment on it, share it, subscribe to my site, and stay tuned for any other articles that will be coming up as well. If you do have any requests for something specific, feel free to contact me. If you go to my About Me page, there's a contact form you can fill out and send me any requests, or if you need assistance on something, that I can write an article or record a video webcast for you. And always don't forget to subscribe and share that with everyone. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.